One day, just after Christmas, when all the family was seated at the tea table, Grandad turned to young Jim and said, "You'd better learn all you can this week, mate. I want you to start shepherding next week. I see Mr. Lloyd down the plough last night, and he said 'twould be all right." The informal way in which Jim's schooling thus ended was typical of the age. It was a rough life for a lad to be suddenly thrown into.
The trees all are bare, not a leaf to be seen, and the meadows their beauty have lost. Now winter has come, and 'tis cold for man and beast, and the streams they are, all fast bound down with frost.
In the depth of winter, the hills were desolate and windswept, and once you had left the shelter of the valley and climbed one of the white chalk tracks that led out up over the surrounding hills, you were exposed to all the buffetings and drenchings that our capricious climate can contrive. Up there the long sere grasses were laid flat and combed in one direction by the persistent wind off the channel, and the stunted gorse patches and scrubby blackthorns, sheared right down to grass level on the windward side, offered little protection from the squalls that run in from the sea.
"'Tis now all the small birds to the barn door fly for food, and gently they rest on the spray."
A shepherd boy's working life alternated between short periods of intense activity and long, lonely hours of boredom. Even the short-lived days of January can seem endless when you're alone on the hill with no other company than day-old mutton. A reluctant sun would struggle up out of the crimson sea, sneak across the far southern sky, and like a tired salmon fall back into the water again, all before Jim could think about making tracks for home. The chances are that he would have not have seen a soul to speak to all day long.
'Twas down in the farmyard where the oxen feed on straw, and they send forth their breath like the steam.
They used to cut the gorse bush in January and cart it to the lambing yards in preparation for the first arrivals. Bushwhacking, as it was called, was a rough job, even for the men who were dressed for the purpose, in their oldest clothes, with plenty of protection from the spiteful gorse spikes. But for a little fellow of 11, it was like floundering around in a sackful of hedgehogs. But all that would be forgotten when he got back into the clock-ticking security of the warm kitchen at Northgate in the evening. With the curtains drawn, and a good fire of gorse trunks in the grate, his wet clothes changed for dry, and himself safely on the outside of a good dinner, he used to come back to life again.
So fill up your glasses and let your health go round, for I wish you